Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Education Podcast. I was nearly going to say careers because that's our other one. But today we're talking education and we're diving into the world of fitness, specifically women's fitness. My guest today, serving us all the Fitspo, is Danielle Mondo from Women's Fitness Education. And without further ado, Danielle, thanks so much for joining me. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat to you.
I am so excited for this chat as well. Now, before we dive into course offerings and all the good bits, something about you, your background is in PT. Can we learn a little bit more about that part of you before we actually get into how you've ended up here running an organization for women's fitness?
Yeah, sure. So, my background is in design, industrial design. I studied at university. I had my own business making jewellery, and that was what I was doing, selling it around Melbourne, around Victoria, but also around Australia eventually. But
Hmm.
as I got unfit because I was sitting there making jewellery, I decided to get into fitness myself, like just training. And I had a lot of people always asking me questions about things. And because I would light up as soon as, I answered, they'd be like, you should become a trainer. And I thought, I really love what I do. My background is creative, but I do love fitness. And I did do some bodybuilding comps, between then and when I studied. So I thought, why not just do the qualification and maybe it'll be like a side thing for a hobby more so than money, if that makes sense. It was just like, I have a passion for fitness, so why not? I was just open to doing the study, gaining the knowledge. To me, knowledge is power, and having a certification is another thing that I can kind of tick off my list. So I wasn't in a rush to complete the certs because I was making jewelry, selling that. But I did have some people ask me to train them prior to me being qualified. And I thought, well, even though I have the knowledge, I can't train you because I'm not qualified. You need your certifications to obviously be able to train people. So I went ahead and got them. Once I was complete and I studied online, I had no intention to do anything with it except train my hairdresser because she wanted me to train her at home, which I did. And I think there was one other friend that wanted me to train them. And I'm like, yeah, whatever happens, happens from here. But the way that I actually got into the industry was because I guess I was in doing bodybuilding competitions years prior. I made friends in the industry, right? So one of my friends, he worked at a PT studio here in Melbourne, and he said they're looking for a female trainer who basically fits your description, someone who's quite new into the industry, has some knowledge, but is not too fixed in her ways so that they can develop me to be the trainer they want me to be. So I didn't even want to reply to the message initially because I'm like, I like my life. I've got my jewelry business. But if an opportunity is there, I also think, well, I'm not going to ignore it. I don't have to say yes if I don't want it. Let's just see. So I went to the interview, met the owner of the PT studio, and he hired me straight away. And I was like, okay. I had no intention to start with. So I'm very fortunate and grateful for that experience.
Yeah,
But also it was a job that like they found you clients. So it was a PT studio, like a closed studio for just trainers
sure.
and their
They got people
clients.
coming in and out, in and out.
Correct.
You've got lots of opportunity.
Yes. So basically whoever inquired for a trainer, the owner would then give that client to the trainer that would suit them the best. So they only had one other female at that point in that gym and they wanted another female. So that was me. So all the new female clients would come to me. Look, it was a lot initially. I was a little bit, as a lot of new trainers are, lacking confidence in training others. I had the confidence in training myself, but I lacked a little bit of confidence in training others. But I was surrounded by awesome trainers and we got loads of further education in that particular position that I had. So anyway, I started it. I loved it. It blossomed. My own, like the boss was really impressed with me. So I thought, oh, this must be my calling. So as it was going to be my little side hobby, what ended up happening was my jewelry ended up becoming that, and my career became fitness as a trainer.
Do you know what I call that? I call that true alignment. Like you, not that you weren't happy with what you were doing before, but shifting into something else and then going, actually, I really love this. There's nothing better than that feeling and it feels right. So I think I know where you're going with this because it looks like it's really developed for you.
What I felt was the energy went there. Obviously, I was scared to change what I was already doing. I was comfortable and I was like, and that was a little bit out of my comfort zone to be becoming a trainer. Even though I looked the part and knew some stuff, I still was out of my normal comfort. But I thought if there's an opportunity there, I'm going to take it. And obviously my energy went towards it. And then that's why it grew. I feel like where you put your energy things thrive.
Speaking of looking the part, right? Do you feel like that has any weight when it comes to becoming a professional in this industry? Or like, can people of all different body shapes and sizes contribute to the fitness industry?
I feel like back when I trained or started, it was more a look thing. But I think that's become less and less because there's so much more to being a good trainer than how you look. And I think that's becoming more and more evident in this current time. People also want a trainer that they can relate to. They want a
Yeah.
trainer that they know will understand them. They want a trainer that can support them, particularly females. That's the kind of trainer they're looking for. So that's not necessarily a trainer that looks like a bodybuilder or looks like a super fit person. And I also feel that depends on the age of the person that's looking for a trainer.
Anybody that's considering a career in fitness, what do they actually have to have? I know you just said before that I think, was it Cert 4 that you must have in order to be considered a trainer?
Yes. So certificate 3 will qualify you to be a group fitness instructor, and certificate 4 will qualify you to be a personal trainer.
Is a group fitness instructor something like, how do you call it? Not F45?
Yes. Yeah. In a lot of commercial gyms, they also run group classes for members. Like, let's say, even if it's just a circuit class or a boot camp of some sort, that's what a group fitness instructor does.
Yeah, and now I think about it, there's like a cycle class that goes on at my gym, and it's always in the front. They've got frosted glass, but I can just hear the lady at the front yelling, and she's like, "Yeah, all right, we're going up, let's go," and she's like really pumping them up. So now I think of it, yeah,
Yeah. So that's a group fitness instructor. But just to clarify, to do spin or anything that's specific, that's a separate short course that people would have to do a specific thing. So let's say someone's just running general group fitness,
hmm
like I said, boot camp, circuit, or something along those lines. That's Cert 3. But if they want to do like spin, that's usually a short course that's separate to your certs. Pilates is separate to certs as well. Usually yoga is separate to certs. But with your group Cert 3, you can work at F45, at a body fit, like I said, at a commercial gym running group stuff. And then certificate 4 is your personal trainer, which is one-on-one. There's a question that often comes up to me, which is like, can you just do Cert 4? You can't go straight to Cert 4
really,
because Cert 3 are the foundations for Cert 4, right?
okay,
And the thing is, there is a thing called a fast track version of Cert 4. I think people get a little bit deceived by it though, because they call it fast track. At Women's Fitness Education, we call it prerequisite units plus Cert 4. So basically,
right.
it's the units that are required from Cert 3 to get you to Cert 4. But the issue is, it's not an issue, but it's still 3/4 of Cert 3.
A big chunk in there.
It's most of it. Like if you won't get a certificate 3 at all if you do the fast track version.
hmm
But some people maybe won't want to do, and sorry to backtrack a bit, Cert 4 always trumps Cert 3. So
Right.
if you have your Cert 4, you'll still be able to do group fitness. But the thing is, it flows a little better because you're only missing out on a small amount of units anyway by doing the prerequisites or fast track version.
To do Cert 3 first, what's fundamentally different about that than the Cert 4?
So it'll be stuff that's mostly around business or something like that. The fundamentals like anatomy and how to design programs for group sessions and all that important stuff will always be in the prerequisite units because that's what you need to know before you get onto Cert 4. So it will be things that aren't as, I guess, required, that you really need to know how to train people. But I usually recommend that people do both because it just, like I said, it flows better and you might as well do that. And the beauty of that is once you've got your Cert 3, while you're still studying Cert 4, you're already qualified as a group fitness instructor. So you can get straight into the industry at that point there.
Yeah, good networking. So you can get the lay of the land, see what it's like. You could even pick up clients doing that as well. Like start off with your spin class and then, work them off into personal training if you click. And I'm getting that vibe too. Like the emotional connection really matters with this. That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
from you when I listen to you speak.
Yes.
And when I reflect on it myself, I go, yeah. But when I was younger, I was going to the gym just to try and get a good physique, and
Yeah.
there was this emotional like, am I being judged? And yeah, I'm just reflecting on that actually as you're speaking.
And like a lot of even younger people now are doing it for different reasons than when I first started. The gym is for so many different things these days. It's not just aesthetics. It's about feeling stronger. It's about mental health. It's about building
Mm.
confidence. So there's so much that comes with going to the gym that I feel like we maybe didn't realize back in the day, even though it wasn't the main driver for us going to the gym.
Can we get on? There is something. So I don't want to say old people, but older people that I know that are like, and I've been talking to them about fitness, or, they're telling me what they're doing at the moment. They've had this realization that lifting weights, they should have been doing it long ago, and they're trying to catch up now. And they're like, and I've realized that I don't have to lift so much heavy weight. I've just got to do something to make sure I'm still functional. So is that a thing? What is that?
Definitely. So whether those people have ever done any weights in the past, I don't know, but you can
Mm.
start that anytime. The thing is like being more functional, being more mobile, having a great quality of life as we age is really important. And I think a lot of people are realizing that we have that control in what we
Mm.
do in our choices when we're younger, or they can start even as we're older and we're still going to improve our quality of life as we age. So then that means more people in the gym, which is great, but those people need support as well.
My brain even goes to like how scientifically what's happening in the body that makes lifting weights or lifting something make you live longer.
You mean in the brain or the body? So in the brain, obviously, we get all the dopamine and all the good chemicals and feel good chemicals helps us. But also, just if you've got more muscle, and I have read a lot of studies that having more muscle actually makes your brain function better as well as you
Right.
age. But having more muscle as we age is so important because it prevents falls. Or if you fall, you might not break something, right? Also, your metabolism is higher with the more muscle you have. Metabolism is going to keep us healthier, right? If you're churning through food better, it's going to keep you healthier because all those things that tend to go wrong as we age with lots of, cholesterol and insulin resistance and stuff like that, we
Yeah.
can improve that by exercise in general, but even more so by lifting weights. And by doing lifting weights doesn't mean always have to be the old school method if that's what you hate. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I like that, but not everyone does. There's so many
Yeah.
ways of doing resistance training. Even Pilates is a form of resistance training. So it's a matter of finding something that you enjoy that you can keep going back to do and get the benefits from it.
And I think hearing that you don't have to lift all the heavy weights just to get a good result, that's actually a really nice thing to hear too, because I don't know where I picked it up, but I feel like I was indoctrinated that, yeah, if you're going to go to the gym, you better lift heavy because it's all about the muscles. So
Yeah,
it's really nice to hear that it's actually developing in this way. It's cool.
it really is. And it depends on what your goals are as well. Like you can still build muscles by lifting lighter weight and you can still,
Mm.
but overall it's strength and functionality and mobility that's important as we get older. But also like I used to train super heavy when I was younger because I love that, but I don't anymore. And what I find it's maintenance, but it's more like consistency and training more regularly with lighter weight helps me as I'm getting older.
I actually have a burning question for
Yeah.
you. Because when you say I love lifting weights or I love lifting heavy, what do you have to do to psych yourself up to get in that mode? Or like, how do you get around that?
Yeah, see, now I haven't got the brain to do that. I could, but I don't. It's not where I need to be. But I used to listen to angry music, which that got me going.
Right. Like Screamo, Parkway Drive.
More like hip hop. That's more my thing.
Right.
Like pretty
Okay.
hardcore rap would be my thing. I
Hmm.
just got in the zone. So if I was lifting heavy, I really had to focus. So it's not a space where I want anyone interrupting me between sets and reps. It was like focus mode. And
Mm.
so you have to prepare yourself for each rep, basically, when you are lifting heavy. And I think that a lot of people, particularly women, they think that they can't. but they actually
Yeah,
can. They actually don't know how strong they are. And learning the right technique so you feel comfortable and safe in doing so really
sure.
helps you in realizing your actual strength.
I guess like, and it kind of brings me organically to this next point, which is like the focus on women's fitness and how you've landed where you are now. Can we hear more about that? Because I feel like I just divulged and went all into the PT stuff and asked about all my own interests. So tell me about that. How did we get into where you are now?
Yeah, so I obviously mentioned where I first started working at that
Mm,
PT studio, which I got lots of further education at. So we had a lot of educators come to our facility and teach trainers, not just whoever worked there, but teach trainers
hmm
in general, around technique, around fat loss, around so many different things. And I was lucky enough to be exposed to all of that in that time. I feel like that was really great to keep me interested
mm.
in growing, learning more, and just staying current as well. So I did a lot of upskilling, and it was in person because it was back in like 2017, 2018 when online wasn't much of a thing for the upskilling. From there, like I went and did my own things at a commercial gym once I felt like I learnt what I could from that place. And then I was my own boss, if that makes sense. Like my own business, was working in a commercial gym with clients. Then I set up my own home studio, which was a pretty full on studio where I
How
took my
cool.
my ladies to train, and they loved that because it was really like there's no one there. So there's no one to make them feel intimidated or self-conscious, which I
Uh-huh.
really enjoyed as well. And then so I continued doing that. I was doing in person and online in the last few years of me being a trainer, which was up to just a couple of years ago, really. I then got to the point where I'm like, what's next for me in the fitness world? It's
hmm
where I know is where all my knowledge is, apart from design, which I felt I was a bit out of depth now. So it's like, okay, what's next? I don't know if I want to be a trainer forever or I want to do something else where I can still contribute to the industry in a different way. So
Mm.
I ended up reaching out to a bunch of people and firstly got offered to create a course around technique, which is technique essentials for fitness professionals. So it helps trainers know how to train their clients with the proper weight training technique. And that knowledge came from that upskilling I did at that first job I told you about.
Comes in handy.
Really did. It boosted my confidence so much. And I used to train with some of my colleagues. So I learned a lot from them. Like they trained me, I trained them, we helped each other. And so after creating that course, I was then in touch with the people who run women's fitness education. And they asked, would I like to step in and start helping them on a small scale? Which I said, of course, And then here I am now never expecting to be doing what I'm doing and helping others get into the industry. So it's still my favorite industry, but it's just a different way of working, I guess.
Was the initial offer that they put forward to you to help come and collaborate on programs, or was it like marketing it or
Yeah.
doing talks? How was it?
It was a bit of both. So, firstly, there was the course, which was the start, and then it was marketing and helping with sales as well and building the community. And then
Mm,
it's just developed from there. So I'm the student success manager at Women's Fitness Education. My role is quite diverse, which I love. There's my
yes.
design and creative background coming into play. But it's really great because I get to help others step into the industry, women, of course, and improve on the experience that I had when studying online. Give them a better experience and a community feel so they feel supported while studying and really well prepared and confident when stepping into the industry as well.
And what courses do we have on offer with women's fitness education, and how are they different from any regular fitness course, or like what's the
Yeah.
angling?
So look, Cert 3 and 4 across the board is much the same. It's not something that can be changed by RTOs. But one thing is that it's missing women's health. So there's no women's health in Cert 3 and 4 across the board, and we're not allowed to change it. So we obviously feel that's missing education for trainers. We feel like trainers should know how to help women at all those different stages of life. So we include 4 women's health courses with our certificate 3 and 4 bundle to help at certain different stages of life, which is what our students are basically drawn to because they are generally passionate about helping women. Cert 3 and 4, the information that we learn from in Cert 3 and 4 is based on the research done on young fit males.
My God.
Yes.
Well, there wasn't any women factored into it at all.
No.
That's crazy.
So it is crazy because at different stages of life, women need different things. I feel like when we're young, we can kind of train like men. It's totally fine. Although we're not men because we have different
Yeah.
hormones. We can cope better. But as we get older or, people have had babies, there's different ways of doing things. So that's why we have those women's health courses in our Certificate 3 and 4 bundle. And we also run a live monthly webinar for our students as well, where we have a different presenter coming to talk about a different women's health topic for our students. So that's our main point of difference compared to other RTOs.
Do you get like natural health professionals as well, like physios and nutritionists and all
Yes.
sorts? Or yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
All sorts of different topics all the time, generally around a women's health topic, but we even have topics around how to become an emotionally intelligent trainer. So it's more
Yeah.
psychologists might come in and discuss some stuff like that. So that's really helpful too, because that's a very big part of being a good trainer.
Super powerful. Like there's actually so many angles of something that, I mean, on the surface, you might go, that's just a real physical job.
Yeah.
No, there's heaps more.
Heaps more.
What kind of career outcomes are the people that come to you looking for in the beginning?
Some of them know directly what they already know because they've been thinking about it for a long time. They know what they want to go into, and that might be a commercial gym as a PT or a combination of group fitness and PT. Another one might want to start their own small business. They might want to run boot camps outdoors for mums and bubs. There's so many options. So with your Cert 3 and 4, you can do any of those things. And like I said, a lot of people come into studying because they've thought about it for a long time. They kind of know what they want to do with it, but others don't. So I spoke to someone a couple of days ago and she's like, I really want to study, but I don't know what it looks like for me when I'm done. So I'm not sure whether I want to do it. And this is a lady who's changing careers, right? She's already doing something that isn't filling her cup and she's wanting to do
Complete
something.
switch.
Yeah. We get
Wow.
so many students that do that. A lot of students are studying, as they're getting older, not, people coming from high school or in their 20s. We do have some, but a lot of them are coming wanting to change their career. And with her, I gave her the advice, like she's not happy with what she's doing and this keeps popping up for her. And I said, well, if you don't do it, like it's probably not going away because it's popped up a few times for you. And if you're not happy with whatever you're doing, whatever you try to do, whether it's a PT or something else, it needs to happen because that job problem isn't changing for you. And I said, you don't need to know what the outcome is right at the end. I said, that will evolve as you're studying and as you step into the industry. Your first job doesn't have to be your last job. It doesn't have to be perfect from the get-go. So I said, some people know, but some people just don't. Like I had no clue because I wasn't even going to get into the industry.
It happened so randomly for you too, didn't it?
Yeah. Again, like you said, it was alignment and it was just, I followed the signs, as much as that sounds a bit woo-woo. If, the
Not at all.
opportunity popped up by my friend saying, hey, my boss is looking for a female that kind of fits your description. Do you want to come and meet him? And I was like, well, I don't really want to, but I'm not going to say no. And if I said no, I wouldn't be here now.
100%. And it's that alignment thing. And it just feels so good when you finally like go, yes, we did it. Or like a change that happens that you can feel proud of. And you're like, yes,
Yep.
I'm rowing the boat the right way. Yeah,
Yes,
go me.
exactly.
All right. And how are the courses delivered? Let's go there. So is it all online? Is there a practical component? How do we do things at Women's Fitness Education?
Yep. So it is 100% online and self-paced. So that basically means students can start anytime and get through it as fast as they want. We have some people take the full time, which is 2 years, and we have others that finish both certificates within 3.5 months. We've had some students finish both certs. Yeah, they were studying full time though, so I will fully disclose that. And then we've had other students that finish both certs within 5.5 months, and they are mums and they work. That was this year. I know the actual 2 students.
Wow.
So it's doable to get through it quickly if you want to. And that's the beauty of online study. It's flexible. So you can actually get through it fast or take your time if you want to. Sorry, you were going to ask something?
With the online training piece, that's a big one too, because like, yes, there is so much flexibility with it, but I was having a chat to one of our other partners, Jessie, So I think I sent you the link to it. And he was
Hmm.
talking about, there is this big sell for doing flexible, easy online learning. Yeah, kick back, do it whenever you want. But really, like, it's actually got below all of that. It's the determination
Yeah.
that you need to have yourself, and
Yes.
other things that they brought to the table were lots of different stuff that they're doing to keep students engaged to help combat that, because it is an issue, and I've studied
Yeah.
online too. So yeah,
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the other thing I was going to tell you that with it is 100% online and self-paced, but there is practical components to obviously a fitness course because you need to know how to train people. And with us, there are a couple of options on how you do those practical assessments, and one of the options is in person. It gives students all possibilities so that they are successful. There is a way for them to get these things done because often students have a mental block on practical assessments. It's the main thing that they don't think they can get done or that they dread a little bit. So with us, you've got two options. So the first option is doing videos. So that's where people have practice clients, like family or friends. They take videos and they upload it to our platform to submit their practical assessments. So that's the side that I would call 100% online. Now, the other option, and it is an optional extra for students, but we run practical intensive weekends in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth. So basically, if students decide to register and opt in for those, which we run every 3 months,
Mm.
they can get their practical assessments done from one certificate on that weekend. They do it with other students, obviously. The other students act as their clients and they act as other students' clients. And we have mentors and assessors that run those weekends. It's really fun because the students get to network, they connect with each other, they learn a lot from each other as well as from the mentors. And I generally join in on the Melbourne ones because I'm in Melbourne and I'm going this weekend. We've got our Melbourne ones. So I join in
How
on the
fun.
second day. Yeah, I love it. And I get to meet a lot of the students in person, the ones that I haven't, the Melbourne ones anyway. So it's a really great way to connect. And the students do very much tell me that that's their favorite part of the cert. So the ones that do join in on the prac weekends. So we're
Mm.
giving people a lot of options so that they can get it done. And if they want to get more confident, some people who may already have lots of training knowledge and confidence will be great for videos because they already kind of know their stuff. But for ones that maybe aren't as confident, it's really valuable to go to those prac weekends
Mm.
because they all say it really helps boost that for them. So that kind of covers the practical stuff that you're asking about. Oh, the other thing, how to keep them engaged. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we are big on community. That is another, I guess, big
Love it.
point of difference for women's fitness education. So we
Hmm.
have a student only Facebook group. I look after that. And it really helps keep our ladies connected and engaged, which I feel when studying online is super important because as you
Mm.
said, you need to be motivated because you're studying online. I find it helps keep them accountable, connected with each other. A lot of them find study buddies through that group. A lot of them who aren't going to the prac weekends will find each other to do videos with as well, like to act as each other's clients. And it's just to not feel so isolated, to feel like you
Yeah.
belong to something, to feel like you're surrounded by like-minded people because those students might be studying and very much into health and fitness, but they might have a lot of people in their life who aren't into that.
Yeah. And I could imagine that for the career switches, that it would be even more terrifying because they're like, holy I've just I've just jumped ship and I'm going into this and I'm all online. Like, I could definitely see some value in that.
Yeah, definitely. And so I stay in touch with a lot of the students when they graduate as well. I guess because a lot of them have spoken to me at the beginning and then they
Uh,
see me in the Facebook group, they're always chatting. And a lot of them have said that the Facebook group is their savior. Like they just
that's
feel
awesome.
like they can ask questions. They feel like they belong to something. And I feel like that's enough to keep people motivated
Mm.
because it helps them know and be reminded of what they're doing as well. And I also post photos, which might sound simple, but of graduates. So if a Cert 3 or Cert 4, they finish their Cert 3 or Cert 4 and they send me a photo with their certificate, I share that in the group because it helps motivate new students and they all congratulate each other. Community and connection is huge. And I feel like that's a really great way that we keep our students engaged.
Is your LinkedIn profile, because when I went after our intro call, I went and connected with you on LinkedIn. Is that you're at one of your events? in that LinkedIn photo.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So we were, and oh, that's a good point. Thanks for reminding me. So this year, Ish is the head educator who has written the women's health courses, and she's the one other lady in the photos.
Yep.
So we were finalists for the Oz Active Education Provider of the Year. So Students' Choice
Ooh.
Education Provider of the Year. And the award ceremony was in, I think, late September this year. And we actually won that. So
Congratulations. That's
thank
awesome.
you. So voted by students. So that's a People's Choice Award, basically. But that sort of proves how important the community is for our students
Yeah.
and how big it is and how I guess well it's going and how much it's grown. Yeah, we're super proud of that.
And online done right. That's what it should be
Yes.
labeled, because it is. It you can do it, but there's so much other stuff that needs to be in place before you can actually make a how do you what do I want to say? Really benefit from it. That's probably the word. Yeah.
Yes, because it is beneficial because like we said, it's flexible, but it's got to have certain things that helps people get through it. Because otherwise you're just throwing them in the deep end. That's what happened when I studied. When I studied online, there were only like 3 providers and you just chose whatever one was on sale at the time or whatever it was. And the support was poor. I felt so isolated. I took so
Mm.
long to finish. Firstly, I wasn't in a hurry, but secondly, it was not engaging at all. It was all written material. We have lots of videos, like everything has a video as well. So that's helpful.
That's
It's
good.
engaging. And the other issue that I had when studying is so until they assessed or corrected, marked my assessments, I wasn't able to have access to the next unit. So if they took, and that's still the case with a lot of RTOs. So if they took a week or two to correct my assessment, I couldn't do any work in that time.
Yeah. Why do
So
they do that?
I don't know. A lot of people, they just don't unlock it until that assessment is corrected and marked. And then let's say that assessment was marked and you had to resubmit because you did something wrong. Yeah. And like, what if in that time you had time to study and you were unable to because you didn't have access? I feel like that throws people off and
Mm.
potentially is why a lot of people never used to finish online study because it was blocking them. So we give access to all the theory from the beginning. So students can navigate their units and modules however they want. They can actually start at module 4 if they really want to.
Mm.
And if they are waiting for an assessment to get marked or if they have a question to an assessor and they're waiting for help, they can still move on to something else. And I think that's why our students can get through it quickly if they want to, because there's nothing blocking them really from making progress.
Is starting at module 4, like, would you recommend that? Or you can learn it either way?
You can. It doesn't really
Okay.
matter because each module will be a different topic. So let's say there's 4 units in a module. That will be
Mm.
a particular topic. So it would make sense to flow through from 1 to 4, but in our 4 is a business module anyway. So people could do that first if they wanted to, because it's really not going to impact their knowledge on anatomy or
Yep.
program design or anything like that. It's sort of module 1, 2, and 3 are more around those things. So yes, I do suggest start at the beginning, but you might want to pick the stuff that you already know because some people have a lot of knowledge before even studying. So, they might know one of the units from module 1, and then they're like, oh, hang on, I know that from, this module. I'd like to tick that off because when you feel productive, you get a dopamine hit
Mm.
and then you continue. But if you don't feel productive, you tend to not do much, right? You get worse.
I feel yeah, I feel like it was a kind of a dumb question actually, because my brain normally would go 4, 7, 2, 1, 10.
Same.
Like that's how I would do it. But when I actually look at how I learn really well and get, things in my brain, 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
doing it that way that doesn't feel normal usually is the way that I go, oh, okay, it is helpful to do things structured. So I'm sorry to derail the question
No,
with
good
that
question
like
though,
little out the
because
box one.
I'm like you. My brain has many tabs open, and I think my creative brain likes to work, 1, 7,
Mm.
3, whatever. But it does flow better if you start from the beginning, obviously.
Let's talk about the enrollment process. So, from someone discovering you to day 1 of learning, what does that look like?
Yep. So basically, if they discover us, they will usually either download an information pack
Hmm.
and potentially, and most people will then book a call to speak to me, usually. They don't have to, but it helps to run through things and talk through them, even if they have read the information in the information pack. And then often people don't read that, but I'll
Mm.
run through the details with basically what I've told you about what we're about, the women's health details, and all the stuff that I feel is really important to know when you're studying that I didn't know when I signed up to my Cert 3 and 4 course. Let's say they booked a call, then I will, and if they haven't read through the information pack, I recommend they do that when we get off the call. I send it to them again, as well as the details about the courses, what's included, and I also will send them a link to sign up if they choose to do so, that I can either help them move the phone or they can do them themselves online with no pressure, because I feel that's a better way to go about things. And once they sign up, it's literally online registering. They will instantly receive a welcome email asking them to enroll into their courses. And to enroll, they have to complete an enrolment module. So that enrolment module usually takes them about 15 minutes to complete, and it is needed to be reviewed by assessors, which generally takes one business day. Sometimes it's quicker than that. Once it's reviewed, they will receive a text and an email saying, congratulations, you've completed your enrolment module. Here are your logins to get started. So it's a pretty quick turnaround if they do their enrolment module straight away, and they don't have to. They can do it whenever they please.
Is the enrollment module a induction piece kind of thing? Like, this is how you get through the LMS. This is how you do this. This is where we're going to do that. Like, it's just getting your bearings kind of thing.
Stuff like that, but it's also, I guess, introducing women's fitness education, what they need to look for. It's a basic literacy and numeracy test as well. So
Mm.
we are required by the government to do this so that we know that that student is capable of studying. So it is a requirement. And then we also go through the stuff about, the learning material, all the bits and pieces that are important for them to know, and also to get them starting to think about their study and how they will complete their practical assessments, hours they can potentially commit to study each week. And
Yeah.
that's so that the assessors can put together a customized training kind of schedule for them with knowing, is it 1 hour a week? Is it 5 hours a week? Because that's going to indicate how long the courses are going to take for them to complete as well.
And just getting familiar with things and knowing what to expect can always lead to a better result anyway. So yeah, that totally makes sense. When we talk about payment options, because training can be few and far between, and the economic climate at the moment, I think a lot of people are doing it tough. Some people are doing great, but are you guys making this affordable for people as well?
Yeah, so students have an upfront option, which is always the cheapest option. But they do have a payment plan option. And a lot of students go for the payment plan option because it's still super achievable and not a lot more expensive. But it obviously is that little bit more because they get a whole year to pay it off. And
Yeah,
generally it's a
wow.
weekly payment plan. And that makes it achievable for not everybody, but most people to start studying. So with that first weekly payment, without any
Yeah.
separate deposit, they can actually start their courses. And I feel it's important because, yes, things are expensive these days and people don't have a lot of extra spare income to pay, a few $1,000s for a course up front.
Mm.
So we want to give students that option so that it's achievable for more people, because
Yeah.
they obviously wanting to study for a reason. They either want to get out of a job they don't like, but they can't afford to be paying up front, and they still need to work, right?
It's that alignment calling.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. But yes, we do have payment plans. And look, I have also set up customized ones for people as well. So let's say so we have a weekly payment plan as our standard, but if someone wants a monthly, I can manually set that up for them. As long as they've spoken
It's
to me,
awesome.
obviously, it's not something that they can just click on the website, but we can do a lot of things manually if need be as well.
You sound like you really take your time with people as well and make sure that they understand everything thoroughly, which I think is really refreshing. You're not growling down the phone at me to buy. I
No,
like it.
I think it's really important because I have a lot of people say that to me, and all I want to do is tell them what we do, who we are, and what we
Mm.
offer. And if that resonates with them, and if they are ready to study, because a lot of people inquire when they're not ready. It's just
Yeah.
the inquiry. They might be ready in 2 months, they might be ready in 12 months. But regardless, I want them to know who we are, what we do, and then it's ultimately up to them whether it resonates and if they want to sign up with us. And generally, they've come to us because they want the women's health stuff. So that's already a plus, but they may not be ready. They may not be able to afford it either at that moment.
You are definitely in the right job. Well,
Thank you.
I want to say as well, when you do those nights or not the nights, the weekends where everyone comes together, does that really, for you, feel meaningful and fulfill you to see like something that you've helped develop end to end now inspiring all of these ladies?
It really does. It's actually so nice, and I make friends with a lot of them. Like, I
Yeah.
actually, the ones that I mean, I'm getting get along with everyone, but there's obviously certain people that you connect with more. And when I get to meet, sometimes it's just online, we've already connected, or over the phone, but then meeting them in person reinforces that. And what I do is so unfortunately we don't, and we will next year, we don't have someone in each state. We do in Melbourne and in Sydney. But in the
Hmm.
other ones, in the new year, we're going to have some graduates actually go and visit the students so we want to have ambassadors from
That's
WFE
cool, man.
to go and visit
Yeah.
the students on the second day. And what I do is I present each of the students who attended the prac weekend with a certificate, basically saying that they've completed their face-to-face practical assessments for this cert. And then we get photos together, and it's just really nice. They get to sometimes they say, "Oh, can I take this home?" Because it's in a frame and everything. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, of course you can." Like, so yeah, it's really rewarding. And like I said, just to see them connect with each other is rewarding as well. Because on the first day, they don't know each other. They're
Yeah.
nervous. They don't know what to expect. I hear that from a lot of them. They're super nervous on the first day. But then by halfway through the first day, they've gotten to know each other. They're all relaxed. And by second day, which is the official assessment day, they're having a laugh. I went to one recently in Melbourne. It was last month actually, because we were running them a bit more regularly in Melbourne for a short time. And it was so funny. They were doing their group assessment, and one of the ladies, I walked in and she was singing and dancing like in between. And I was just like, what? This energy is just awesome. Like, to think that she felt comfortable enough to do that. Her name's Ellison, and we had a good laugh about it. And like that, I love that because I love bringing people together. And
It shows that your work's having an impact on people and it's manifesting like that, like making them feel like
yeah,
awesome, that they want to show it, literally.
yeah, I love it. And that's why like this is a super rewarding position. And I feel like I would never want to do anything else. Like, I'm where I'm meant to be.
One thing I did want to touch on as well before we wrap up was the micro credential part of what you guys are
Yes.
doing.
Yes,
So
yes.
so people, I mean, the main demographic we've spoken about is people that or ladies that want to get into fitness and they're starting their journey. But what about women that are already in the industry? That's where this CPD stuff comes into play, right?
Yes, it does. Our students, when they sign up to Cert 3 and 4, they get these 4 women's health courses. But these courses are also available to any trainers who want to
Hmm.
upskill in women's health. So those 4 courses, which are called CPD courses, are training pregnant and postnatal women, training menopausal and perimenopausal women, menstrual cycle essentials. So it teaches ladies how to train around their cycle, and pelvic floor and prolapse essentials, which is a common thing that happens to women either after birth or even as they're getting older. So it helps, I guess, our students and any other trainers who want to study this, which heaps do by them,
Hmm.
learn how to train women at all those different stages of life, have all very different requirements as well.
Yeah. And so CPD though, that in itself is a requirement for practicing PTs. Am I understanding that right?
So it really depends. So CPDs give you points. So CPD courses allow trainers to accumulate points when they already have their qualifications.
Hmm.
If trainers are a member of AusActive, I'm not sure if you know who AusActive are.
I'm not familiar.
So it's basically the Australian fitness registration body for the
Okay.
industry. So
Okay.
it's not essential to be a member of AusActive to be a
Hmm.
trainer. It may be depending on where they work though. That like some workplaces, so some commercial gyms may require trainers to be members,
Like a
right?
standard thing, kind of
Yeah.
like we want all of our trainers are here.
Now, if you are a member, what that means is every 2 years to stay a member, you need to complete courses, so CPD courses up to 20 points. So each course has a number of points, and each course has a different amount of points depending on how long it is. So a shorter course might be 4 CPD points. A longer course might be 10. So if a trainer wants to remain a member of AusActive, they will need to complete 20 points worth of courses every 2 years.
Okay. So it's not like a mandatory thing that the
No,
government's like, you need to do this to keep your
no.
status. It's more like, yo, if you want to stay connected to this industry and like be in the know and stay up to date with it, then you gotta be doing this to be in our club kind of thing.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's very similar. I mean, this is off topic, but I was talking to a dog trainer not long
Mhm.
ago as well. And, there's the Pet Professionals Guild, and it's the same sort of thing. So I feel like, and then now I'm thinking of it, accounting partners that we've worked with before as well, like some of their courses will offer membership to some accounting. I should probably know more about that, to be honest, but I'm just connecting the dots now. So yeah, all right. And it helps people stay up to date and
It
connected
really
with
does.
people. And I'm guessing it would make you a better trainer as well, right?
Definitely, because you're upskilling and it can be anything. It doesn't have to be women's health. Obviously, they're
Mm,
the CPD courses that we offer, but you can anything that you're interested in, whether it's training seniors, whether it's boot camps, whether it's a technique essentials. Like my technique essentials course is a CPD course, just as an example. So whatever you're interested in, or you feel like you may need more knowledge on or confidence on, you kind of can go down that road. And I think it's important to evolve as a trainer to continuously upskill. It helps
hmm
you stay current and it also helps you stay interested
Yeah.
because if you don't do new things, you're going to get bored at some point, right? So I think for your own benefits to stay in the industry long term and obviously be current with your knowledge, it's really important to do those things.
Yeah, 100%. And what's one, as we get to the end here, what is one solid piece of advice that you'd give somebody considering a career in fitness? They might be afraid of failing, or they're in that position where they're like, oh, I've been thinking about this for a while now. I'm going.
Yeah. I think everyone's got some fear before they start something new. So I think accept that that's normal to be a bit fearful. But if thinking about being in the fitness industry and helping other people on their journey into wellness, remember it's not just about physique, it's physical and mental wellness. If that sparks a bit of excitement, I feel like you have to honor yourself enough to follow that through. Because if it's there and it keeps popping up, it's there for a reason. And if you never do it, ever. You may regret it, or you may even then end up doing it a couple of years later or 10 years later and saying, I wish I started earlier. There's so many people I speak to that say, I've been wanting to do this, like that our new students that introduce themselves in our Facebook group. I've been wanting to do this for 10 years. I'm finally doing it because I have time or, I have more time now, or I just now I can't leave it any longer. So I feel like if it's there, honor yourself. It's not just about
hmm
you helping others. Honor yourself and give it a go because you don't know where it will take you. I never intended to get into the industry at all. And here I am today doing something that I love. And I
Mm,
think it's just follow that gut instinct and just give it a go because really, what have you got to lose? Even if you learnt something and decided it wasn't for you, you've still learnt something.
100%. It might be alignment on the other end of the phone there. Get
Yes,
into it.
it might very well be.
All right. And if somebody wants to learn a little bit more about your courses, or if they want to have one of those awesome phone chats with you, how do they get
Yeah.
started? What's the best thing to do?
So I think the best thing to do would be go to our website, which is womensfitnesseducation.com.au, because straight on that first page, you can download an information pack, which has all the great info. And you can also click on a link to book a chat with me as well.
Wicked. All right. We're going to leave some stuff in the show notes as well. So there's going to be lots of links.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and joining me today. I've had a really great chat with you. You've been very insightful and I really love your energy. So yeah, have a lovely rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Bye.